Hi, Luis. Hi, Luis.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm very tired. I've been doing a lot of work.
Oh, no. You've been driving to New York back and forth?
Mm-mm. I'm in the house
Oh, okay.
in Socrates. I've been doing a lot of work outside.
Oh, you're in Syracuse. Oh, no,
Socrates.
you're at the waterfort? Yeah, I see the balcony. Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm in Socrates.
Oh, it looks like from the picture here, it looks like you're on the balcony and the thing that you have in your background is the top of the balcony, the edge. It looks just like it. I'm sending a couple of text messages to people, okay?
Okay. Did anybody answer?
Only you,
Uh-huh.
but whoever shows up, that's what we're gonna discuss it and they can send their answers later because, you know, I send all the questions in the email anyway. I'm sorry about last week. I had the communications meeting before and it was an hour difference, but someone was late to that meeting, like 15 minutes, and then they were like talking a lot. And so
Hey.
I just couldn't make them stop talking. So I just couldn't do anything. Gosh, it was awful. We'll just wait a couple of minutes and then we'll start, okay?
Okay.
I'm trying to find the answer to your question about the
Mm.
kilowatts because I have the report from ERA in front of me and I'm pretty sure that they gave us that information. The problem is that some things I don't understand because, you know, it's very technical. I'm sure you do.
Well, we probably should ask Dan because it's not just how much per kilowatt, but then they keep adding taxes and the
Well, we still have a week. If we don't come up with a price for that today, we can opine. We have more week until the board of directors meeting next week. So, I mean, we couldn't really, it's not for profit really per se, it's more for convenience for the residents. But we can set the price for outsiders at any price we want to deter them from coming here. So the profit, that would be the profit to be made, if any, you know what I mean?
yeah, but there should be a little
A little profit,
a little wiggle room.
right?
Because I think that there is a monthly or there is a monthly or yearly fee for maintenance from the people who sell the EV equipment.
Yeah, that's all included in the price.
Oh, that's already in the price?
Yeah.
Ah.
That the subscription to the cloud and all that goes with it is included. And then the insurance is included as well in case someone damages it or whatever, something happens, it starts malfunctioning, they can send the text at no cost to us. Well, it will be at cost, but it's already in the price that we are getting. Well, we should probably start, you know, it's 5 minutes, so if whoever comes late, that's fine.
Let me get the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw your answers. They were okay.
So Danielle sent me an email, a text. She's saying that she got my email and she just sent the response. So I'm gonna read it. She emailed it, I guess. But anyway, let's start the meeting now. It's 7:35 p.m. and this is the EV charging stations meeting to work out some of the details to present a proposal to the board next week, hopefully. Charles, the president of the board, said that we need to work out all the details before presenting this for a vote. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Marcella.
Luis, this is Mike
Hi.
Wish. I don't know if you know him. He used to be on the board and he is in the communications committee. He knows a lot about green initiatives, I think. Okay, so we are setting the meeting. There are other people that Danielle Barbara just emailed me with her answer. I haven't read it yet, but so you guys have the agenda. If you don't mind, we'll start. Luis, do you mind reading the first point in the agenda, please? I can minimize this gallery here. I can read it.
I'm looking, I have to look at my phone.
Okay, or Mike, if you have it, whatever, I don't know. Well, I remember. So basically we are here to go over, first of all, the locations that we like
First
to
is-
propose.
Look, yeah, number one is location, and you have three options.
Right, so the first two options, if you guys remember, the first one was right outside the boiler room. Do you know, Mike, what I'm talking about?
I'm not 100% positive. Is that?
I have a picture here, so I don't know. Can you
Oh,
see it?
okay, got it. Yep.
So that's location number one, right outside where Mark and Ed hang out. It will be right there. It doesn't have to be those two, those four parking lots. It could be a little bit on that side or that side, but in that area, just because the electrical connections are there from the time we did the renovation in the lobby, and the front desk was working from the trailer in the back. So the connections came out of the boiler room and crossed the parking lot into the other second location that we had proposed, which is this one right across the parking lot. Right by the picnic area, there is that wooden enclosure. And that was the second option for the same reason, to cut costs because the electrical conduits are there. They're anchored inside that wooden structure. And the bottom line is that we already went through 4 different vendors and they came on site and gave us prices. And the winning bid was, can you see that figure, Luis? 1,800 and
1813, 1,113.
so it was less than
After all the
$2,000.
rebates.
Right, after all the rebates, that will be the cost for the Waterford. And that includes 5 years for subscription to the cloud and 5 years for insurance. So the other 3 vendors didn't come too close. 2 of the other vendors, they didn't include the price of the chargers. We will have to pay for those separately. And the other, another company didn't take care of the submission of the paperwork on our behalf. And this company does everything. This company has worked with ComSource before and with Dan. So Dan and ComSource are also recommending this company. I spoke with the board of director, one of the board of directors of a condominium in Rockville that's called Falsewood Condominium, that just went through the process of doing the same thing. They put 2 charging stations, level 2, just the ones that we're looking at. And they did that in November, and so far the process has gone flawless. But the question now, I had an information meeting before, and the people who attended gave me some negative feedback. Yeah, and they even wrote letters to the board, and some of the information some of the issues that they had. One is a member here on this committee. She's not here today, but Jenny, Jenny Gosh, she lives on the 3rd floor, right outside here. She lives right above there, and her main concern was of the noise. And there is no noise involved in the charging itself, and no engine the engines of these electrical cars don't make any noise. But I do see her point. There might be some noise when people come in and out of the car or some activity, I don't know. Or these people decide to talk on the phone while they're there for a minute. There is the potential of noise. I can see that. And then there was another letter that was complaining, just anticipating the fact that we are taking all the parking lots available that are closest to the entrances. When people come from the supermarket with bags or packages, they want to be the closest possible to the doors. And obviously these two locations are somewhat close to the back door. And the other people complain about the fact that we were going to take the parking lots and there wouldn't be enough parking spaces. But the fact is that after that, we've been doing a survey and logging in the parking spaces available. And on average, every night, there are about 15 spaces available overall in the entire parking lot. So if we take 4, it still would be an additional number of free parking spots.
We're actually taking only 2, right?
No, 4 parking spaces. Because each charging station will be put in the middle of 2 parking spots.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Marcella?
Yeah?
Will residents be forbidden from parking in the spot unless they have an electric vehicle?
Yes, we have to do that because we are getting money from the county and we have to make the spaces available for anyone who needs them, even outsiders. And so, yes.
Oh, interesting. So they're actually available to the public as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's because of the humongous amount of money that they're giving subsidies. But this is no different than spaces for people who need, the what do they call? People
Handicap?
with disability, the handicap.
Right.
They are there and they can only be used by people who have the sticker.
Right.
And sometimes are empty, but that's a
Right.
requirement. And in my view, eventually it's going to be a requirement to have these electric spaces because that's where the government is aiming at.
That's correct. And Luis, to what you were saying, so here there would be 1 charging station there.
Right.
Because they
Yeah,
have 2 ports.
I
One
know
for
how
this
they
car.
work. I just thought that we were only buying 1, but
No, we're 2 because that's how we get the big rebates, and that's
Okay.
how we get the 5-year included. But so initially we had those 2 options on the table, and after that I had that meeting, I went back to Lightility, which is the vendor who won the bid for the 1813.
he hasn't
and-
won. He's got the better bid, but we
Yeah,
haven't.
it's got the
approved
better
yet.
bid. Yes, I apologize. And they get, I asked, well, how much would it be if we go to a farther area? Are you able to access the picture? Or let me see if I can share my screen here.
It would be 2 spots on the, where the garbage dump is parked. It's around there.
Yeah, near but Mike, how long is it been that you haven't been here?
To the building?
Well, it's at the very end.
Been a year.
Yeah, it's, where there's a back gate at the very end. Let me see if I can open the email. It's at the very end where there is an emergency gate in case of a fire or something.
Sure.
That's where the 3rd location would be. It's right next to the wooden enclosure still, but it is a little bit farther. So I asked for how much would that cost, just because it's still somewhat close from the current electrical conduits that we have. Here it is. Let me see if I can. A second. You can see that one just now, right? Okay, can you see that one? Can you guys see it? Yeah.
Yep.
So the first location was in here, and the second location was across. And then I asked like utility, well, how much would it be if we put him in here? For the reasons that I just mentioned, it would the noise that these people here would hear, if any, would be much less. The parking spaces closest to the entrance would still be available. Whatever is there, they'll still be there, because some of the open parking spaces every night actually are here anyway. And then it would be harder for outsiders to find if they come at night trying to find it, probably they will have a very hard time finding them. So it would discourage people, outsiders, from using them. The problem with that location is that it's more expensive. There's more cabling and more work. And I put in the email how much more. How much is it, Luis? How much more? Is it 6,600?
It's about, yeah, 6,400 more.
No. It's about 6,000 plus more.
Yeah, 6,400 plus.
Right. So that's one thing that we need to decide. Do we want to present one of these first two options here, either this one or here, for the price that we spoke about earlier, the like $1,800 or less than 2,000, or we want to go a little bit farther, but pay more? What do we think about? Hi, Natalie.
Hi.
Welcome back. I'm glad you made it. At what point did you come in? Did you hear what we were saying earlier?
Yeah, about the two different locations. So I was going to step in here. I think the ones that are closer to the building are better options than the ones at the furthest end of the parking lot, especially if it's going to be more expensive. Also, the lighting back there is not super great. And I can't imagine folks with EVs will be comfortable doing that consistently. Like, it's empty back there for a reason. It's like the least safest part of our parking lot.
Right.
But there is a gate there, though. It's still our property, no?
It is, but so when I was having to monitor the parking lot, if shenanigans were happening in the parking lot, they were always happening back in that little alcove there. And so people find their way back there regardless. And I think the ones closest to the building, we can have cameras that can point to this spot a little bit better. I just think for safety reasons, and also it sounds like it's cheaper to have it closer to the building, less cabling.
Much cheaper.
That just seems like a winner as opposed to over there in the corner.
I agree.
Can I ask another clarifying question? So it sounded like there was a reason that we got two chargers instead of one. Is there a specific reason?
Due to the rebate rate, we wouldn't be getting nearly as good of a rebate as when we get the two. And also the 5 years, it's included as a bonus. The 5-year subscription to the cloud and the 5-year insurance comes as a package when you buy two. And if you buy one, you don't get the same deal. You don't get the same rebate.
Got it.
I mean, I think that what's behind is the Montgomery County government is trying to expand this network fast. And that's why they're giving so much money away.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because if you look at that, it seems like a perfect spot to put the EV would be right where that green and in between that green car and the sort of silver car, that little corner there, because you have the most amount of access
here
to the most amount of cars. Yeah.
Yeah, this would also qualify for the same price that we quoted earlier, less than $2,000, just because the electrical connection is anchored inside this wooden enclosure. So it would be, we could choose any of these spots here and it would be the same price. The more expensive was to take it farther down there.
Gotcha. Because just eyeballing it looks like you could have one charger and have 4 different spots, even if maybe you only designated 2 spots. There might be 3 other cars that could access the charger if those spots weren't available for some reason.
Right.
Yeah, if the price stays the same, I do agree with that. Also, is there going to be a time limit because I can't imagine we're gonna just allow people to park their cars overnight or for an extended period of time in these spots.
Right, that's the second part of this meeting. We need to decide on that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But so one other thing that I must mention that they told me is that if we go with this location number 2, there's very little space between the edge of the asphalt or the concrete here and where the wooden enclosure starts. And so if we do it anywhere around the enclosure, they will have to kind of messed up with the concrete, and they would do it no problem, but they would not repair the concrete after that. It would just be the edge and everything, but they will mess it up a little bit. So the condominium will be responsible for hiring a concrete company and patch it up. I don't know if Ed can do it, but that's something that they will not fix. They would just anchor the charging stations there, and the concrete will be disturbed. And the same thing here. Here they will anchor it in the grass, and they will not fix the grass. We will have to ask Ed or the landscaper to fix the grass and all that area.
So that won't have any differential cost effect.
No, but we will have to pay for it. I mean, it's easier
Right, but
to fix
there
the
would
grass.
be, whether it's one spot or the other, we still have to do some repair work. Doesn't matter where.
Yes. So I guess let's, I want to make this meeting kind of fast. Not that, only because I have this free account and I only have 40 minutes to do this. So you guys, what do you think? What do you vote for? I'll get someone else, the other people's votes via email, I guess.
I go for number 1. It's easiest,
Number 1 here by the grass.
and cleanest, because there may be or there may not be some work around the cooling tower
Mhm.
once we go through the energy efficiency project.
Right.
And by the grass, number 1, that will not be in the way of anything.
Okay. What about you, Mike?
I just given people's concerns about having everybody park close to the building. If we choose, I would say option 2, where you're kind of not right up against the building, but on the opposite side near the generator.
Okay.
Just to try to quell people's concerns about having the EVs be the closest spots.
Right.
And
Okay.
giving them privilege.
And you, Natalie?
I think both options are valid. So I'm with majority rule here. I see pros and cons to both of them. So either one is fine with me, 1 or 2.
And I would say, I think that I'll go with 1, 2 with the grassy area for that same reason. Otherwise, I will never hear the end of it by other board members or Charles about the cost of that we still have to pay to fix the concrete. It's easier to fix the grass, I think. So,
Oh, I didn't understand that. I would say option 1 then also. I thought the concrete was going to be broken in any case.
no, if they do it here, they will anchor the charging stations in the grass. In there, they would do it too, but there is no grass because the cooling tower is all the way up to the edge of the concrete. There's
Got
no room to do it.
Yeah, well then option 1 makes sense if it's going to reduce the cost.
Okay. Option 1.
Yeah, and again, it seems that we may have to do some work around the cooling tower once we go into the energy project. So I'd rather be away from there.
Right.
I'll
I
go
agree.
1.
And also Mike Claude, the engineer, he said that this is his preferred option, or because he would prefer to have this empty most of the time. We have moving trucks coming all the time and the trash truck, and that gives more open space for that. Okay, thank you. And so can somebody please read the following item in the agenda?
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we designating 2 spots?
No, it's just one containing, we're taking 4 parking spots, so it was either the bottom spots or the top one. They're all
wait.
together.
But so I guess my question is, we can designate whatever number of spots, but then we can have a charger that can do like a number of different spots at a time. But like, let's say we had 2 designated spots because, parking's at a premium here. Like finding a parking spot at the Waterford can sometimes be challenging. And so
Mhm.
taking up 4 spots for this feels really hard. But I think if we had 2 designated spots and then 2 other spots people could park in to charge, but it's like open to everybody, I think that might go over a little bit well with the community and taking up 4 designated spots all the time.
I don't understand you. What do you mean, like, to split the 2 charging stations, one in one location and the other one across? Or I
No,
don't
not
understand.
across. They can all be next to each other, but sort of like how we were going to do if we were going to do it over by the cooling tower.
Mhm.
We could have 2 designated spots, but the charger could reach. So like 2 people could be charging, but they could be charging in a spot that's not a solely designated EV spot. So like it's open for anybody, but you can charge there or not charge there. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, I think that the way the rules are for this, we can't do that. They have to always be, they have to be maintained open, whether someone is charging or not, and nobody can park there technically. I'm sure that the people will on and off do it. That's what they will have to come up with rules for people who do it. But the rules of Montgomery County are that they have to, once we put the charging stations in there, and once we receive the money from Pepco and from Montgomery County, they have to always stay open. Open for people who need to charge, either residents of the Waterford or people from outside. And this is why it's causing some sort of, some people are not agreeing with this.
Okay, I'm also a little behind because I haven't read up everything. Is this free to charge, or are people going to have to pay to charge their cars?
So the condominium will pay for the installation, and then we'll get the rebates. And the total cost for the condominium will be less than $2,000, but the residents will have to get their own, account with the
electricity.
charging station and charge with their own card, with their own money. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very likely you will have 2 prices, one for the residents and one for the outsiders.
Right. Okay, can someone please read the second item in the agenda?
I'm getting there. Price per kilowatt. There's a proposed set of 15 cents per kilowatt with the right to increase according to whatever the market prices are. And the county charges 20 cents per kilowatt on the public places. So it looks like, it's okay. I just wanted to, we have to double check that the 15 cents will cover what it cost the electricity that we're using. And I think it will, but I don't have the numbers with me.
Yeah, and I think that maybe we can probably go with whatever the county is charging, because even though we may charge the same as what people may pay at the public parking lot or at the supermarket, the fact is it's more convenient to park the car overnight here than going over there and wait, or charge just a little bit over there. So even if it is the same amount as the county charges, I think it's still a good deal for the residents. And then we have to come up also with the price for outsiders. The price for people who don't live here would be different. And that, according to residents, most residents don't want strangers coming here. So it will have to be high enough to discourage people from using them. We can go as high as we want. What do we think?
There's no limitation from county?
Nope.
Okay. I think that whatever we charge residents should be cost plus a minor amount just, for wiggle room, I call it. And not that we're going to make a lot of profit.
Mhm.
And even if there's a little bit profit, it will be for the condominium. But, we have to cover the cost.
Do we,
For the outsiders, nail them.
do we have some sort of maintenance plan that we have to pay for these
It's
chargers?
included in the price of the,
It's included.
in the package that with the two chargers, the insurance and the maintenance
For
is
how long?
included. 5 years.
5 years.
Okay, got it.
So what do we think? Can we go one by one? Luis, how much do you think we should charge residents and how much should we charge? I'm sorry. And to Mike, to your answer, after 5 years, we will have to pay annually $2,188 for the cloud and for insurance after 5 years, or $182 a month. Which
We
is,
should,
competitive.
Might be good for us to build in that cost for the residents, as you were saying, Luis, like
yes, totally.
just to have the whatever additional markup we need to build up some, buffer for however much that's going to cost once it starts.
Right, I see what you're saying.
Right. So but I think that for that, we'll have to figure out what the consumption in 5 years' time. We'll know exactly how much juice they're growing, and then we can factor in, kilowatts plus maintenance.
So we can put it in a language that allows us to make a change or to upgrade the cost.
Absolutely.
once we
Price
get
will
close
be
to 5 years.
adjustable on a year-to-year basis, depending on market conditions. That would be standard.
And how much should we charge the outside people?
It should be
if-
double. The whole point is to discourage people from the community, right?
Well,
Right,
if there is no limitation by the people who are mostly paying for this, which is the county, we can make it at least, a little bit more than what you pay for in a local, in any public place. So if they're charging 20 cents for public place, it would be 25 and higher.
I say we double it for whatever we're having residents pay.
Okay, I'm game. That's okay.
Yeah, sounds good. I really don't think you want to encourage people to use those. It should really be only people that are desperate, I guess,
right.
Yeah,
And,
well, that's
and there
the
are
next-
charges nearby. If they drive a little bit farther to the Wheaton Mall in the parking lot there are
Right.
charges there. So
right?
they're everywhere else.
It's also located very deep on our property, so it's not like it's right at the front where you have people just drive up and then drive on. I mean, it's
Right.
it's
Yeah,
all
it
the
would-
way at the back.
I don't think we're gonna have an invasion of people to charge here, particularly if we charge extra. I wonder, Marcela, you have been with, I think the people next door in the two condominiums. Do they have charges there?
What people next door?
The two condominiums that are on each side of the.
I haven't seen any, no.
Okay,
I've seen
Because
a few residents that have private homes in the back where when I walk my dog, they have their own private charging stations in their
yeah, well,
driveways.
you don't need a charging station in the home. You just plug it into the wall.
Mhm.
All you need is a 240 connector. My son-in-law has one of those, and he charges his Ford.
Right.
Just plugs it in the wall. But it's unless the people next door start buying electrical cars and they don't have a charger, then we'll have some people coming in. But I don't see that as a problem.
So you guys think $1 or $2 for outsiders would be too much?
Yeah, I think $1. If we're charging 20 cents, let's make it like Natalie said, 40, 50
Double.
cents.
Yeah, I
Double.
don't want the people to have a reason to complain or make this any more problematic, then it sounds like it already is for our own residents. Don't need community concern also.
Right. Okay, so Natalie, so you're saying how much?
You know, whatever the going rate is for any other charging place for residents, and then we double it for non-residents.
Okay. And you, Mike?
That's fine for me.
And you, Luis?
Same for me.
Okay, I
Double
agree.
president rate.
I agree with that too. Okay, what's the next item in the agenda, please?
Penalty.
Okay, what should the penalty be for someone who doesn't move the car?
What is the penalty for people who park wrongly? You know, like they take 2 spaces. Is there anything like that?
The next
Towed.
towing.
Yeah, they get towed.
Okay,
But,
so
oh yeah, I guess we have a towing company that that Natalie got us anyway, so we could just call them and say, hey, come and tow it. But that's really mean because then they have to pay. What if they have really a good reason why they
it
didn't
costs a
move
lot
it?
of money.
Yeah, it costs too much money. Wouldn't it be easier to just give them a ticket and if they don't pay it, get it assessed to their expenses as a, you know, like when you don't pay, when Mark comes and fix something, if you don't pay within a month or so, it gets charged to your account?
Yes.
And what's the time frame that we're giving folks to be able to charge and then have to move their car?
That's the other thing we need to decide.
Well, I think I don't know how long it takes to charge a car. I don't have the experience. But whatever.
This level 2 charging stations, how long do they take, Mike? About 6 hours for a full charge,
It's
right?
going to take a while. People are going to be charging overnight, probably.
Yeah,
It's
overnight.
going to be like an 8 or 10 hour thing.
Oh, I thought that was level 1.
No, level 1 is slower.
Okay, so give them, you know, you should give them at least half an hour. You know, sometimes the elevator doesn't work.
I agree, half an hour is reasonable. What do you guys think?
Half an hour from what?
From the moment that they finish charging the car to the moment that they move the car, grace period.
Oh, I don't think we can, I don't think we can monitor that in the way that we'd want to. I think that if a car is there for over a 24-hour period, then we can give them, if they have a parking sticker for the Waterford, then we can give them a notice, a warning or something. If they continuously do it, then I think that we can charge them like $50 for violating the policy. And I think if it's an outside person, we know the car's been there for over a day, then we get them towed.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Why wouldn't we treat this like any other parking violation?
So
Like,
what specifically you're talking about not towing the outside person or more?
No, I'm talking about anybody. I mean, why isn't it? Why would we treat it differently? Like do we normally ticket people, or is that going to be a whole new process we have to set up?
No, we normally ticket people. So the office has, and I used to walk around the parking lot, and it's basically like a warning ticket that, you know, if you have something that's missing, like your parking pass is missing, you don't have a visitor's pass, like you get that first initial warning. If it continues, and there's copies that are left with the office, if that continues, then the next step is towing after that. We've never done sort of like an assessment to like, we've never charged anybody. But if we're saying that we think towing is not necessarily the first step, then I think we could charge them an amount of money. But an outside person, tow immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, they shouldn't be here in the first place. I mean, come on.
I think that, I don't know if there's any county regulations about towing. I know that there's certain hours where we can tow without warning. But I don't know if these EVs are subject to any kind of exceptions or for towing. But we might want to look into that.
I feel like our current rules would sort of supersede any county thing because we have a contract and that between a certain amount of time. I think we had it at 5 o'clock at one point or 7 o'clock, but from like 7 to 7 in the morning is when the tow trucks can come and just remove anybody. If they don't have a sticker, if they're not supposed to be there, like it's the tow company that manages that process.
Right.
I believe, but I'm not 100%